Welcome to the deep dive. You've tuned in because, well, you're interested in making smarter decisions.
That's the goal.
And you've flagged some really interesting pieces about market research, specifically why keeping it fresh is so critical.
Absolutely essential, not just good practice.
So let's get straight to it. Why is it actually risky to use old market research? And, what can people do about it?
Right, that's the core jargon. Think of it like this, the market. It's alive. It's constantly shifting.
Shifting how?
Well, consumer tastes change, new tech pops up, the economy moves. Using old research. It's like trying to predict, I don't know, tomorrow's weather using last year's almanac.
Ha, yeah, probably not going to work out well.
You might get lucky, maybe, but the odds.
Not good.
Okay, so the basic danger is just being disconnected, out of sync.
Exactly. Disconnected from reality.
One of the articles you sent used that great example, the move from physical media, like DVDs, to digital streaming.
Yes, that paints a really clear picture. It does. A company just stuck pouring money into something that people are moving away from, based on old numbers.
Precisely. Imagine planning your whole strategy around DVD sales figures from, say, 5 years ago.
Oof.
Completely missing the boat on Netflix, Disney+, all of that. You'd be sinking resources into a dying market while everyone else is riding this huge digital wave.
And it's not just entertainment, right?
Oh, definitely not. Think about sustainability.
Big one now.
Huge. If your data doesn't show that growing demand for eco-friendly stuff, you could develop products that just fall flat with today's consumers.
So it's not just that things change, it's the speed, right? In some areas. How fast does this research actually go stale?
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
And it varies a lot. Depends on the industry.
Okay.
What's kind of wild is how fast it decays in certain fields. Take smartphones.
Oh, yeah, fast.
Studies show that, like, key preferences for camera features, they can shift by maybe 40% in just one product cycle.
40%.
Oh.
In less than a year? Often.
Yeah. Often, yeah. So last year's must-have feature is suddenly, well, old news by the time the next phone's out.
Wow. That really puts it in perspective. And fashion obviously changes with the seasons.
Exactly. Trends cycle in and out constantly.
Yeah.
But, even in industries that seem slower.
Like manufacturing or healthcare.
Right. You can't just assume the data lasts forever. Think about a big medical tech breakthrough.
Okay.
Or a sudden shift in global trade rules. Poof. Your old research on patient needs or supply chains might be useless overnight.
So businesses really need to be asking, what's the shelf life of our data?
Constantly assessing that, yes.
Yeah.
There's no printed expiration date.
And if you are using that stale data, what happens? What are the actual, tangible consequences?
Well, they can be pretty significant. The most obvious one, wasting resources.
How so?
Well, if your marketing campaigns are based on outdated demographics or what people used to want, you're basically throwing money away.
Targeting the wrong people, or maybe the right people with the wrong message.
Exactly. Just not landing.
Makes sense. What about product development?
Oh, that's another huge risk area. Imagine spending, tons of time and money developing a product based on 5-year-old desires.
Only to launch it and find crickets.
Precisely. The market's moved on. So you've got wasted time, wasted money, wasted effort. Leads to poor sales, obviously.
And probably unhappy customers.
Right. They feel like you don't get them.
Yeah.
And that damages your brand's reputation.
And you could just completely miss the next big thing, right? Like plant-based foods catching on, or the big shift to online shopping.
Totally. Your competitors, the ones who are tracking this stuff in real time, they get a massive head start.
They're innovating while you're playing catch-up.
Exactly. And one more thing people might overlook sometimes, old data means you're not even compliant with current laws or regulations anymore.
Ooh, yeah. Legal risks, too. Okay, so the risks are clear. They're serious. What can businesses actually do? What are the practical steps to keep research fresh?
The key really is building a system, an ongoing process for market intelligence.
Okay, like what?
Regular market check-ins, using different methods, surveys, focus groups, actually talking to your customers.
So actively reaching out, getting that direct feedback, not just assuming.
Precisely. Ask them about their needs, their preferences, their pain points now. And then you layer on top of that real-time monitoring.
Using digital tools.
Yeah, analytics platforms, watching your website traffic with, say, Google Analytics, tracking social media engagement, seeing what people are saying.
So you can spot trends almost as they happen.
That's the goal.
Uh-huh.
It allows for much quicker, more agile decisions.
It seems incredibly valuable.
It is. And the articles also mentioned staying plugged into your industry overall.
Oh,
Subscribing to industry reports, going to trade shows, joining associations. It helps you see the bigger picture, emerging trends, new regulations, what competitors are up to.
right. So it's a mix. Talk to your customers directly, watch the digital signals, and keep an eye on the broader industry.
That's a good summary. And technology, as you hinted, makes this much more manageable now.
Yeah, how does tech fit in specifically?
Oh, it's transformed things. AI, machine learning, big data analytics. They can crunch huge data sets in real time.
Finding patterns humans just couldn't spot.
Exactly. For instance, AI tools can scan like millions of social media comments to figure out how people feel about your brand.
Like a giant nonstop focus group.
Kinda, yeah. And machine learning. It can look at past data to predict future trends.
Predicting demand or
Yep.
behavior.
Both. Super useful for planning inventory, marketing, you name it. Plus, cloud platforms and real-time data tools just make gathering and seeing the info way easier.
So tech helps understand now and get a peek at what might be coming. Okay, crucial question then. How often? How often should you update this research?
The million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the articles are clear. There's no single answer.
It depends.
Heavily on how fast your specific industry moves.
Right, so tech or maybe fast fashion needs updates way more often than, say, construction.
That's generally true. For those fast-moving sectors, you might need to refresh key data quarterly, maybe even monthly in some cases, just to stay competitive.
Wow, monthly.
Whereas in more stable industries, maybe an annual review or every 2 years might be okay. But, and this is key, every business needs a regular schedule.
So even if things seem slow, you can't just do it once and forget it.
Definitely not. You need that regular check-in, establish a rhythm for reviewing and updating.
And combining those bigger periodic updates with that continuous real-time monitoring seems like the way to go. Catch surprises between the big reviews.
That's really the ideal combination, yes. Continuous tracking for the day-to-day pulse, plus deeper research dives at set times.
Okay, so if we were to summarize, what are the main proactive things businesses should do to avoid getting caught with outdated research?
I think the articles really stressed cultivating a mindset of continuous learning. Always be gathering data.
From lots of places.
Yeah, diverse sources, customer feedback, industry news, those real-time analytics we talked about. Don't rely on just one thing.
And it's not just passive collection, right? It's
Yeah.
actively talking to customers.
Absolutely. Surveys, social media chats, direct conversations, really dig into what they need now.
And what else?
Using social listening tools is smart. Hear the broader chatter, see what competitors are doing, and importantly, use the data. Update your models, your forecasts. Do some scenario planning.
Planning for different futures based on the data.
Exactly. And finally, invest in good tools, platforms that give you up-to-date data and, crucially, actionable insights.
Right, insights you can actually use. There was a fast fact in one piece that drove this home for tech.
Yes, the one about the tech industry. It said consumer behaviors and product preferences can change so drastically, sometimes within just a year.
That they need quarterly updates?
Quarterly updates just to stay in the game, basically, to remain competitive. It really highlights the speed in some markets.
It really does. Okay, so the main takeaway here seems pretty clear. In today's world, using old market research isn't just sloppy, it's actively risky.
A significant risk, yes.
Staying informed with current, relevant data, it's not optional anymore. It's fundamental for making good decisions.
Couldn't agree more. It's an ongoing commitment, really, understanding your market, adapting constantly.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought for our listeners. Considering just how fast things like, say, social media platforms or online trends emerge and shift, how confident are you in the timeliness of the info guiding your own decisions in those constantly changing spaces? Something to mull over.
A very good question.
Thanks for this deep dive. Really insightful stuff.